Howdy. I don't know why I started with howdy. How would you like to see the process behind my 2024 Astrogust drawings? For those who don't know, Astrogust is a space-themed art challenge that goes on throughout the month of August. It's hosted by Coco Artsalot over on Instagram, and I would definitely recommend checking her out. Her art is so cute and cozy, and I just wish I could live in her drawings. This year there were 5 prompts total, so I thought, hey, since there's not too many, I should show the process behind each piece. So I will be showing the sketches behind each piece, and then I will show you the digital time lapse while I explain my thought process behind the artworks. And I didn't want this video getting too long, so I'm going to be splitting it into 2 parts, so look forward to part 2, yay! Now, before I get into the actual video, I feel like I should warn you that, it's not going to be very good. I don't have the equipment or the experience to produce high quality videos, so I'm just starting with what I have for now. But hey, that means you get to watch me grow and improve at making videos in real time, if you stick around, that is. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. Regardless of this video's quality, I am excited to keep trying and get better with time. So, hopefully my awkwardness is endearing rather than uncomfortable, but we shall see. Anyway, on to the actual video. Okay, Astrogust time. Let's hope I can keep the camera steady. I am filming in a kind of precarious position. Do not worry about the stuff on my desk. My desk is not messy. You're just imagining things. Anyway, let's get started. So we're gonna start off with Sunkiss. I'm gonna show you the sketches from that. But first off, here's a little prompt list that I wrote down so I wouldn't forget the oh my gosh, I'm already moving the tripod. I'm so sorry. Here's the prompt list so I don't forget the prompts. I tried to make it really nice and cute with little stickers, but my handwriting is not as pretty as the rest of it. Anyway, so the first prompt was Sunkiss. And alright, I just want to start off by saying that some of these sketches are going to be like really wonky, but that's like the whole point of planning. The whole point of planning is to just get ideas out at first and worry about making it pretty later. So you can see I wrote down right here that they will look bad at first because I always have to give myself permission to make bad art before I can actually do it. If I don't write down in my sketchbook, hey, you can make this look bad, then I just start stressing out, and yeah, I always have to like write it down first so that I'm not so focused on making everything look pretty and perfect. So yeah, one of my first idea was to have like a little sun. Okay, this is irrelevant to Astrogust, so that's why I'm covering it. So my first idea was to have a little sun sprite sort of creature, like a little sun fairy or something, kissing an astronaut. So that's what this sort of thing was. And then my other idea was to bring back the solar flare girl from Astrogust. I believe it was day 22 of last year. The prompt was solar flare, and I drew a girl who looks like a solar. Is it a solar flare that looks like a girl, or is it a girl that looks like a solar flare? I don't really know, but she's dancing in the original, and so this time I thought, oh, let's give her a love interest. That would be so cute. So yeah, I dabbled with that idea of her kissing an astronaut. Yeah. So then, beyond that, those are the 2 main ideas that I just kept drawing sketches for. So we got little sun sprite kissing the astronaut from above. And we got several kissing the astronaut, you know, here and here. I was thinking about possibly redesigning Solar Flare Girl to give her a flowy dress because that sounded fun. Yeah, and then there's more kissing, you know how it is. This prompt is sun kiss, so yeah. Oh, sorry, my alarm just went off. Alright, I am back, and oh, hold on. I just realized, was that there the whole time? Okay, so it was. That's lovely. As you can see, I am very good at filming YouTube videos. I am basically a natural. Anyway, I am back and I cleaned up my desk. So here's more ideas with the solar flare girl. Okay, I feel like that's not centered. Sorry. So I once again tried out a different flowy dress on her. And then I was just drawing her to see how I wanted to draw her hair. And then I thought, oh, what if I make her really big? And I was like, trying to be funny and clever with my notes on my drawing. How's that for a height difference? Yeah, anyway. Oh, I wonder which idea I went with. Surely it's not the highlighted one. Oh, and one other thing, pro tip for anyone who actually cares about sketchbook compositions. I don't know if this is an issue for anyone else, but I tend to struggle to actually fill out like the bottom of the page. I always accidentally leave like a gap down here. So if you want to like fill in that space, just like take a strip of washi tape and just put it across. You know, use a piece that sort of matches the vibes of your drawings. Like I did a little sun with stars around it, and then I colored that pink to match it. That's not relevant at all to the prompt, but you know, I'm just nervous talking right now. Anyway, more ideas with the little sun sprites. These poses were copied off of Pinterest, but everything else I've shown you so far were my own poses. But yeah, these two were done off of Pinterest. This one was poorly executed. It does not really look like the Pinterest reference, but whatever. But yeah, then I thought, oh, maybe Solar Flare Girl could be kissing the astronaut's shoulder, or like kissing them in space without their helmet on, because I don't exactly enjoy drawing bulky spacesuits. It's difficult for me, as you will soon find out. Anyway, there was another one with like a little sun sprite kissing the astronaut. You can see I wrote here that this face needs more emotion. I stand by that. That's a very blank face. I wish there was more emotion in that. But it's just a sketch, so it's okay, it's okay. And then I thought, okay, I'm doing the same two ideas over and over. Why don't I try something else? So I thought, okay, maybe there could be an astronaut blowing a kiss, and then they are backlit by the sun. I ultimately decided against that idea because I wanted to draw something cutesy or romantic. And, well, I guess blowing a kiss is kind of cutesy, but I mean like little fairies kissing you, sort of cutesy. Then I decided, oh, maybe instead of one person blowing the kiss, I could do two people kissing. And anyway, here's a few more kissy poses because I think they are fun to draw. And I thought, oh, this would have been a really cute, this would have been a really cute idea. I kind of wish I would have gone with this, but you know, it's okay, it's okay. I thought, okay, maybe the astronaut could be trying to kiss Solar Flare Girl, but he can't because he has a helmet, but he's still puckering up as if he was going to kiss her. But yeah, I really don't like how these faces turned out in this one. So naturally, I must zoom in on it to show you. But yeah. And then this is the last sketch I did for this idea. It is very, very low effort. I wasn't even trying. I just wanted to fill this space in because I don't like leaving blank spaces in my sketchbook. So I just did a very, very sloppy, messy drawing of two people kissing. And I can't even tell what's going on, to be honest. Like, I can't tell what angle they're facing. But, you know, it fills the space. That was, like, the main job I wanted it to fulfill, and it did the job. So, you know, yay. Okay, on to the execution stage of my idea. As you can see, I went with the Solar Flare Girl kissing an astronaut idea. I will say that I had an absolute blast with the planning stage of this piece, but as far as the painting stage goes, yeah, I can't lie to you. I did not have fun. It was a very bad time. It was a very bad time. I spent so long on this piece with very little to show for it. And I think a major reason for that was due to a lack of refinement in the sketching phase. I did not plan things out fully. I thought, it'll just come together as I go along. I don't need to worry about it. You know, just hop in, save some time. That was a bad idea. That was a very bad idea. it also didn't help that I didn't stay faithful to the sketch as I was painting, at least not with the astronaut, which consequently was my biggest struggle. I wasn't sure what angle I wanted them in, or even what angle they were in as I was painting them. The neck and shoulder region especially confused me. I still don't think that turned out quite right. It didn't help that I'm not used to drawing bulky spacesuits. I really should have done a few studies beforehand, but I didn't, and I think that shows. The astronaut turned out a little bit wonky, a little bit stiff, but even though I'm not happy with the anatomy of the astronaut, or rather the anatomy of his spacesuit, I do think my rendering saved this piece to some extent. I mean, the lighting is a little bit wonky, but I do like the brush strokes, and I like the subtle color differences in the helmet. That's one thing I really like about white surfaces, is you can fit a lot of color in there. I mean, I guess that's true about just about any surface, but it's a lot easier to notice color shifts in objects with a low chroma. Initially, I was gonna draw his face underneath the glass of his helmet, but I didn't feel very confident in my ability to paint material that is both reflective and transparent. I really wish I would have, though. I think that would have been really helpful in defining what direction he's facing, as well as conveying a level of intimacy that's just not there in the final piece, which is a real bummer because it's supposed to be romantic and sweet, but it just doesn't feel like that. Also, I think it would have been really cute to give the astronaut tan or dark skin and freckles like they've been sun-kissed. That would have been so cute, but I just had to save time and cut corners where I could. I'm also kind of disappointed in the accent color I chose for the astronaut suit. I knew I wanted a warm color to complement Solar Flare Girl, so I just defaulted to pink because that's my favorite color. But I kind of wish I would have gone with an orange, like a nice vermilion orange. I think that would have complemented the Solar Flare Girl a lot better than pink. I don't know what I was thinking with pink. I do know. I really like pink. That's what I was thinking. I just feel like pink might be too different from all the other colors in this piece, but I also always have this inclination to go as analogous as possible, so maybe that's where that dissatisfaction is coming from. But anyway, I've been going on and on about this astronaut, and I haven't even talked about the Solar Flare Girl yet, so let's talk about her. I had a lot of fun painting her, actually, but I did struggle to decide on some things. I wasn't sure how much contrast to give her, because on the one hand, I wanted the piece to feel soft and romantic, and I associate softness with minimal contrast and lost edges. I actually only recently learned about lost edges, about what they are and how you can utilize them to convey a certain mood, and so I was like really itching to use them in this piece, and you can see in the earlier stages of painting her that I wanted to use them here. But on the other hand, fire isn't soft. It's bright, it's punchy, it's high contrast, and I was worried that it wouldn't look like fire if I didn't keep it soft. So I tried to find a balance between the two things, but I still don't know if I executed it right. I honestly think the overwhelming majority of my struggles with this piece stems from indecision, and honestly that's applicable to most of my art, to be honest. Most of my issues are from not being able to decide on things. But anyway, I'm being like really negative, so let's bring up something that I do like. I really like the hand. The hand turned out great. I don't even know how I ended up with a hand like that. I wasn't even trying with the hand. I was just like throwing color on there, and I was like, oh, I'll fix it up later. I'll get to it later. And then when later came around, I realized, oh, I actually really like it how it is now. And I don't know what I did differently from the hand to the rest of her that just makes it look so fiery. But yeah, I really like that hand. Here's another thing I like, her freckles. So the plan with her freckles was to make them look like the surface of the sun, and I honestly don't really think I succeeded, but I still really like the idea behind it, so I'm still happy with them, even though it didn't turn out how it was in my head. Okay, I think I discussed everything I wanted to regarding this piece, so I guess I'll just move on to my closing thoughts. I think this piece could have turned out a lot better if I had moved on to other prompts and periodically came back to this one with fresh eyes, but I had got it in my head that if I stopped working on it before it was finished, I would lose my groove and struggle to get back into the process again. Overall, I may not be completely satisfied with this piece, but one thing's for sure, I'm glad it's done. I'm very glad it's done. I'm glad I'm not working on it right now. I'm glad that's in my past. Not looking back. I mean, I may not like the finished result, but it was a learning experience, so that's good, right? I mean, now I know I can't just ignore the sketching phase. It's kind of important. Anyway, I'm sorry that the commentary on this first piece was so negative. But on the bright side, this was my least favorite, so everything else is just gonna sound a lot more positive from here on out. Yay! But yeah, as much as I have been trash talking this piece, I am still glad that I did it. I'm still glad that I painted it. Some parts of painting it was really fun, and being able to say that I got through it and that I didn't give up on it even though I really wanted to, that feels good. It feels good to finish things. Even when those things don't turn out right, it feels so good to finish a piece. So yeah, I guess I will see you in my sketchbook for the next prompt. Okay, so prompt 2 was Cosmic Cowboy, and I wasn't entirely sure what to do. I don't watch a lot of westerns, but I have watched Rango, and that's a that's a western. So I thought, oh, maybe I'll make this alien character look a little bit lizard-like, give him scales or something. So that's why I gave him scales, was because of Rango. Listen, I don't have a lot to go off of. The only westerns I've watched are Rango and Firefly. That's it. I guess I'll go through each of these sketches. This was like the very first sketch I did. It's very vague, not very detailed. I was just getting my wrist warmed up, to be honest, with this one. I'm gonna be honest, I can't really explain most of these because I wasn't fully thinking as I was doing them. These were just me getting warmed up, trying to figure out what I might want, because I didn't have a very strong idea. I thought maybe he could have some sort of filtration mask or something over his face. I felt like that kind of could replace a cowboy bandana, and look spacey, so that's what that is. This face, I really liked how this face turned out. I don't know, I just like that sort of shape, I guess. I'm so sorry, I am not doing a very good job talking about these drawings. But part of the issue is because it's been so long since I drew them now that I have a hard time remembering what exactly was going through my head when I drew them. And another part of the reason is because I am very not used to this. I am very not used to recording videos yet. Also, I am so sorry that the camera is shaky. Anyway, with these, I just really wanted to draw flippy hair. I like hair that goes whoosh, 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 you know, that sort of thing. You know what I'm talking about. I really don't like this one. I don't like that face. But you know, I was just trying things. I was just trying things to see what I did and didn't like, and I discovered I didn't like this. I do like that hair, though. Again, I like flippy hair that goes like what you can see with your eyes. Yeah. Okay, skipping forward a couple pages, here we are, back to more Astragus stuff. So here are more sketches, I guess. I don't really have a lot to say about these, once again, sorry. But yeah, here's a poncho, and striped pants for some reason. I thought maybe I could give him a vest. I kind of like the shape of that hat brim, the way it goes sort of down and then up. I like that. I'm sorry, I can tell right now as I'm speaking that my voice is gonna sound very weird over the recording. My voice keeps catching and stuff. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it's not too annoying. Hopefully I get better at that over time as I do more of these. Anyway, more ideas. Again, I like that sort of hat shape. That's a cool swoop, and I like that too, how it goes forward kind of, but then the back is more steep. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Mal Reynolds, is that you? Yeah, for some reason I thought this looked like Mal Reynolds. I think it's because of the coat. I like the ears there, the ear there, and the little jaggedy bit. I think that's a nice sketch. Here is where I really started getting excited about this drawing, because I was looking through Pinterest, looking for masks or helmets, and I saw one that looked kind of like a skull, and I thought, oh, why don't I push that and make it look really like a skull? That's when I came up with this sort of mask idea, and that's when I started to get really excited about this prompt. Also, I didn't draw it out, but in my head I had this idea where, like, maybe this mask can come in like parts, so there could be a back piece that he could attach to make it a full helmet rather than just a mask, and these things lead to an oxygen tank, so if he needs oxygen he can have that, or if he doesn't need oxygen he can just attach it, so there's less stuff to carry and it would look like that when it's not attached. I think it could also double as like a filtration mask if he doesn't need oxygen necessarily, but he does need to like filter out harmful substances, I guess. I don't know. In my head, I know what I'm trying to say, but as I try to say it, I can't. Sorry. Anyway, here's another page. Once again, I'm just revisiting the idea of giving him scales. I thought maybe I could give that, like, only do it on like the side of his face so that it creates an interesting shape there, so that it could kind of like mimic a skull just like his mask. I don't know. And here I remembered that there was Breath of the Wild concept art of Revali, where he was wearing a poncho, so I thought, oh, maybe I could look at that and see if I could bring that idea into my own art somehow. Here are more concept sketches of what his full outfit might look like. I really liked the idea of giving him a long coat, but with the final piece I had in mind, it didn't quite work. Well, I mean, I could have made it work, but I didn't want to take the time to, because I was already really behind. These were I was just trying to see if I could like draw him in a more simplified, cutesy style, because I have multiple art styles. I was trying to see how that would translate, but I wasn't trying very hard, so it just looks kind of goofy. I really like this one. I like the coat in that sketch. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have drawn that coat, but it's fine, I guess. And here is where I started experimenting with giving him a different hair texture, because up until now I just sort of gave him straight, choppy sort of hair. So yeah, I wanted to try something different. Oh, this whole page is a disaster. There's so much going on. I'm sorry. I guess go through them one by one. I thought, okay, maybe tighter curls, because I never draw tight curls. I need to do that more often. So yeah, that's what I was doing there. I thought, okay, maybe I could give him long, straight hair. I didn't like that idea very much at all. Yeah, I don't know why I wrote that it looks like Paul from Dune. I don't know. I don't think it does anymore. I don't know why I thought that. And here I thought, oh, if his helmet looks like a skull, maybe the rest of him, maybe he could be wearing full body armor that looks like a skeleton. Except I didn't execute it very well. And here I was considering making his face look like the muscular system. I don't know, I thought it would be cool if his helmet looked like a skull and then underneath it looked like muscles. I don't know. But I don't know the muscular system very well, and I didn't want to take the time to learn, because once again, I'm in a time crunch here. It's not something that I can just spend days and days on, you know? So I just didn't go with that idea. Here I don't like this one. I think it's the hairline that I don't like, but I'm not sure. Something about it I just don't like. Here I thought, oh, maybe instead of doing full body armor that looks like a skeleton, maybe I could just do little bits and pieces. I didn't go with that because it reminded me of a different character and I didn't want to like rip it off. So I didn't go with it. The poses I draw are very weird and awkward because I wasn't really thinking about the pose. I was thinking more about just drawing a body to put clothing over. So yeah, that's why the poses are all kind of just standing there weird. I really was determined to do the curly hair. I was a little bit nervous about doing curly hair because I was worried it would distract from the scales on his face, because like it's both sort of zigzaggy sort of pattern, so I was worried that the scales would get lost in the hair. But I didn't even draw the scales because I drew his mask over his face for the final illustration, so it didn't matter anyway. Yeah, more stuff. Experimenting once again with different hair textures. I thought, oh, maybe I could do braids, but I didn't do that. Again, here I thought, oh, maybe loose curls, and I didn't do that either. Here was like, I was getting close to the end, trying to finalize what I think his outfit would look like. Oh yeah, see here you can see I wrote down that I like the idea of curly hair, but I was worried about the scales getting lost in the hair texture, but it ultimately didn't matter. And here I was finally getting into the planning out the composition stage of the sketches. I was really leaning towards this idea, having his ship on a cliff, and the ship is over a little bit and he's sitting on it, looking down on a desert town with stars sort of leading your eyes from him to the town, I guess. I really liked this idea, but I did not like the thought of me spending all that time figuring out what his character design would look like and not even being able to see it very well in the final illustration. So I was very reluctant to go with this idea. Here's just him sitting on the ship looking at with stars in the background, I guess. This one, he's just walking away from a ship crash, I guess. Okay, and this is the idea that I did end up going with. He's like in a spaceship shooting from his spaceship. I liked the idea of not having to design a spaceship with this one, because like it's only a small part that you see. So that's why I ended up going with that. Even though I did really like this idea. Once again, I redrew it slightly different. I guess I don't really see the difference. But yeah, I guess it's hanging over the edge a little more. Again, with the weird poses, I also thought of maybe doing like a desert landscape in the background with stars in the sky, and he's sitting on his ship. It didn't feel as exciting as the other ideas, though, so I didn't go with it. Just more stuff. I guess this is a close-up of him. He's leaning forward a little bit, I guess, with stars in the background, but that one felt kind of boring. This one, he's just camping out, I guess, under his spaceship with like a desert scene in the background at night, of course, so you could see the stars. Just more stuff. Another shooting pose, I guess. Yeah, I think this is everything. Yeah, this is... Wait, no, there's more. I thought... Okay. I had this idea of maybe I could make this spaceship vaguely shaped like a cowboy hat. Like, give it sticky-uppy parts. I don't know what you call that. Also, this is irrelevant to ASTROGUST, but I got these Crayola pearlescent paint markers, and, like, they were very underwhelming. I gotta say, I'm not impressed with them. I guess I thought they would be more shiny. Except the one marker that I am impressed with was the iridescent color changer. And look how pretty that is. Look how pretty that is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's so pretty. I am in love with this marker, and I am so mad that the only way you can get it is in this expensive set with all these other useless markers. Okay, I guess not necessarily useless, but like they are not nearly as exciting as this one. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You can't even see it. Okay. Can't even see it. There you go. Now you can see it better. Look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. I love this one. I am so mad that it's not... I want to buy it individually. I just want this one. I want to be able to buy this over and over and over. When I run out of this, I don't want to have to rebuy the whole set. Anyway, that wasn't relevant to ASTROGUST in any way, but I just really wanted to ramble about that. Alrighty, onto the speed paint. So as you can see right off the bat, I struggled with the spaceship, which is funny because I didn't even have that much of it to draw in the first place. I intentionally cropped most of the spaceship out of the composition since I was short on time. Part of me kind of wishes that I had shown more of the ship so that you could tell right away that it is a spaceship, because I'm not sure if it actually reads as a ship in the final piece. But I'm also kind of glad that I cropped it. That way I was able to keep the canvas size somewhat low while still being able to see the cowboy clearly. Well, okay, actually, that's not entirely accurate. The canvas was not small. It was 3,500 by 3,000 pixels, which is honestly way too big for my iPad, considering how many layers I was using. My poor iPad was fighting for its life. It was lagging so bad as I was drawing this, and on top of that, halfway through, Ibis Paint kicked me out of the canvas and wouldn't let me reopen it until I cleared up some storage space, because like my iPad was like maxed out on storage. So I was fighting low memory and low storage at the same time during this piece. And also in my next piece too, I had the same issues. I definitely need a new iPad, but I like to wait until my electronics are nearly unusable before I replace them. Anyway, it was interesting trying to make the piece feel Western and spacey at the same time. I mostly looked to Firefly for guidance. For those who haven't heard of it, Firefly is a space western. It's a TV series. I really like it. I think it's pretty good, but it is from the early 2000s, and you can kind of tell when you watch it. The DVD menu makes me laugh. Anyway, I tried to mimic Firefly aesthetically through the colors. Firefly uses lots of browns and reds, so I tried to follow that palette. It was very interesting trying to keep everything reddish when I usually associate outer space with cold colors, but I think I did a pretty good job. I'm really happy with how the colors turned out. I also tried to keep everything textured, as westerns seem to typically be pretty gritty from what I've seen, and I think using texture really helps sell that feeling. I don't typically use textured brushes when coloring or painting because there's something in my brain that always wants to fill every last gap. Whenever there's just any gap that's uncolored, it drives me insane. Which is like the exact opposite of texture, so my art usually doesn't end up looking like that. But I ignored the urge to fill all the gaps and left it textured, and I think it looked pretty good in the end. I definitely need to use textured brushes more often and trust that those little gaps will look okay in the end, because yeah, I'm really happy with the result of this piece. Honestly, this piece makes me want to experiment with texture some more in my digital art. I definitely need to remember that is an option. I also tried to keep the line art sort of loose. I made my lines thinner than I usually do so that I could go over some areas several times to create a more sketchy sort of appearance, and I really like the result of that. Once again, I think I should do that again in the future. As for his gun, I wasn't sure if I should make it more sci-fi or more western, so I tried to combine the two, but I don't know anything about weapon design, so it didn't really end up looking like either. I did look at references, but sometimes not even references can save you from your own inexperience. That's okay though. I mean, at least it looks like a gun. I mean, it's definitely a gun. That's a gun if I ever saw one. Also, don't question how he's able to survive with only a face mask and not a full helmet in open space. He's an alien, okay? He's just built different. And also, I really wanted to draw his hair. Anyway, I think I have run out of things to say about this piece, so I'm just going to say adios for now. I will see you all in my sketchbook once again for the next prompt. Okay, time for prompt 3. That's not relevant to prompt 3, but while I was drawing the Cosmic Cowboy and I was trying to find references for curly hair, I looked it up on Pinterest, and these were like literally the only results that kept coming up. It was all variations of one of these two guys, and it made me very annoyed, so I had to draw it. But yeah, that's not relevant to what I'm supposed to be filming. So the third prompt was Night Night. I was very not confident about this. As you can tell, I don't know how to draw armor. I haven't practiced very much. Also, as you can see, there was only 7 days left in August by the time I started on this prompt. So I was like trying to hurry through it. So there are not a whole lot of sketches for this one. You can tell that I wasn't very confident with these. Back at it with the weird poses. Yeah, I don't really like any of the sketches that I did for this prompt. I mean, I like the concepts, but not the sketches themselves. But I guess that doesn't really matter because I did end up liking the final piece, so that's cool. But anyway, I was trying to avoid making the same mistake that I almost made with the Cosmic Cowboy prompts. I had spent a lot of sketches trying to figure out what I want the cowboy to look like, and then I very nearly ended up going with a prompt where you wouldn't even have been able to see his design. So this time around, I decided to figure out the composition first, and then I would design his armor after I knew how much of it would be visible. And because I didn't have a whole lot of time, I didn't really explore very many compositions, and right off the bat, well, okay, there was this one of him leaning with a sword, but you can't even tell that he's leaning with this sword because it's very, very simplified and also makes no sense. That's how most of my sketches are. But then there was another one where I thought, oh, he could just be standing with the sword and have a cape framing him. And then this is the one that I decided to go with because it meant drawing the least amount of armor, because I really didn't want to draw a whole lot of armor since I didn't know how. As you can see, I wrote, I'm going with this one. I don't have time to explore other options, and I guess I didn't have time to finish that sentence either because it is unfinished. I have no idea what I was... I bounce around a lot when I draw, so sometimes I move on to things and then I forget what I was thinking or doing with something else. Yeah. I was worried that drawing a character just standing there wouldn't be interesting enough, so I also decided to frame him in some sort of way. Initially, I was going to do an Art Nouveau style frame. It did not end up being Art Nouveau, but that's okay. You will see how it ended up eventually, or right now actually, because I stuck stickers in there of the final piece. Sneak peek, I guess, for what you have to look forward to in the next video. Like I said, there aren't very many pages for this prompt. There is a sneak peek for the moon dance prompt. They're not very good sketches, but hey, what's new? Hey, what's new, right? Anywho, that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video where you will see me draw this piece as well as the other 2 remaining prompts. And if you watched through this entire video, congratulations! You don't win anything, but good job. Good job, I guess. See you next time. Bye!